I'd like us then to reflect on how we want to begin to work with our inner self, because, as I said, it's very much who we are. It's very much who we've been all our lives up to now. So it's not about turning on ourselves and starting to hate ourselves like that poor man who said he loathed himself. I can't remember what the exact details were as to why he loathed himself. But, it's not turning on ourselves and wanting to destroy what we are. It's almost like wanting to move to a place of deeper at oneness with ourselves, moving to a place of deeper integrity in ourselves. It's like walking into a big shop and walking around saying, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that, and walking out and thinking, what I've got is fine. It's almost reducing what we engaged in, so that we are lightening up, because we all want the right things, but we fill our lives with things that block us and that overload us with what we don't want, to the point where we get smothered. We smother our own capabilities in choosing life. We overdo it, and that's a very easy way to blunten our whole direction. It's like eating junk food when you're hungry. You're not going to have an appetite when you have the real stuff, and then you get sick. And if you eat more junk food, eventually your appetite goes and you get sick and you die. So and that's what we tend to do with our false self, is we feed ourselves, or we allow ourselves to be engrossed or involved in the wrong stuff, for the wrong reasons, and then we find we lose a sense of who we are and what we want. So it's good to reflect on this and to really start saying, where can I cut back? What is authentic for me? Relationships are a very important area to look at. I find people saying, as I get older, I have fewer and fewer friends, and it's harder to make friends as we get older. And a lot of our friends we made when we were at school, because then we played marbles together and other stuff, and sort of we grew up together. The point is, can we make new friends? And on what level do we make our friendships? Because the friends we've had for a long time, we've almost formed the same false self with. We do the same things together. We talk about the same things as we did 30 years ago. And it's very hard to change. I've tried, and it's actually very hard to change. So it's almost like with those friends, we do those things. We don't do other things. But meet new friends and start again. And take risks, because what also happens is, with time, things that have hurt us in the past or haven't worked become areas we stop taking risks. So we'll meet a new friend, but we won't get very intimate with them, because we don't want to get too serious and too close to the bone. So we sort of have more superficial relationships, and that doesn't help. So we're needing to be aware of the journey we're on and what we're needing, and to begin to take the risks into our areas of discomfort. The only areas we grow or change is where we are uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where we're comfortable, we just in the same patterns that we've always been in. And in fact, where we're comfortable, we're growing more and more dead. Have you noticed that the same pleasure decreases with time? You need more of the same thing to keep the same level of pleasure. And it's the same with our lives. Where we're comfortable, we need more and more comfort to feel comfortable. If you know what I mean. The same thing won't keep us happy in 5 years' time. If we have one drink now, we'll need 5 drinks then to get the same effect, because our body acclimatizes, gets used to it, and wants to avoid us getting into a place of stasis. So to keep growing, it has to actually keep changing. So we're needing to take risks, and we need to move out into places of discomfort and make our become comfortable with this discomfort. Discomfort is not a prison sentence. It's not bad. It's like, a runner goes running and it's not much fun, but he gets a lot of a thrill out of it. climbing a mountain, you're puffing and panting, but getting to the top is great. A lot of the things we do, we put effort into it, and they're not comfortable, but we do them because they give us good return. So, with relationships, get into areas of discomfort. Talk more honestly with people. Be more real. Take more risks. Negotiate your expectations. And do that with yourself. What do I expect of myself? Is this year going to be any different from last year? Do I really want to face myself and face my inner life, or do I want to carry on playing these games? So just to get honest with yourself is an enormous, good, very important beginning. Because you can start in your journal talking to yourself as if you really mattered, as if your real self really mattered, and apologizing for all the stuff you fed yourself, both food and behavior, that hasn't helped, that has just perpetuated stuff that you were expected to do when you were an adolescent, and you're still doing now because you got into the habit of it. So it takes some guts to start facing ourselves. It takes some conscious awareness that I really want to begin to be transparent. I really want to learn to begin to be open, and not to say that we haven't done it in the past. When I said just now we're all living a false life, I didn't mean totally. We've all, in many ways, tried to live more honestly. But I'm thinking that, suddenly it's becoming apparent that there's a lot more we can do on the internal side of ourselves to begin to find a deeper self and a more meaningful self, and ultimately a more connected self to God, because God doesn't meet us in the false self. He doesn't want to play games with us. If he met us here, he would be justifying the false self. So he says, come to the real self and we can talk.